the Colts and the 49ers end up being, well, it looked like it was a good game and ended up kind of being a blowout. Colts came back to make it a little closer at the end, but they still lose 48-27. Now, Phillip Rivers. We're going to start with my dog, Phillip Rivers, man. You know what? A few weeks ago, but when they said they was bringing Phillip Rivers in, I thought it was going to be a disaster for the Colts. You know, they still lost the last two games, but they've actually been kind of competitive, man. Phillip Rivers is out there doing what he do, reading defenses, getting the ball out early and on time, and completing passes and routes that are timing based. But what we also said was when he had to push the ball downfield, and especially if he was in a trailing situation, it wasn't going to be good for him. And that's basically what you've kind of saw the last 2 weeks with the loss to the Seahawks and also today the loss with the 49ers. But these teams are two of the best teams in the league, so you have to give them that. You have to give Phillip that. And at the end of the day, you know Rivers is going to go out and compete. And that's what he did. He went out there and competed, and his defense really didn't help him out today. They couldn't hold up against the Niners. The Niners pretty much did what they wanted to do, whether it was Purdy, whether it was McCaffrey, whether it was 8-5, Kittle, the tight end, who's Purdy's favorite target. You know, whatever happened to the Colts secondary in these last, few weeks. Sauce Gardner's went down. He's been unhealthy after the trade. They just really can't get it together. So early, Phillip was able to find Alex Pierce, who had a pretty solid game. Downs also had a touchdown, but playing from behind, just not going to get it done for the Colts, especially when their best offensive player is their running back. When you get down, you can't run the ball. And that's basically what's been happening, or at least this game, Monday Night Football, to the Colts, right? They get behind, and now you can't run the ball. And the Niners early started teeing off on Taylor and making it known, hey, you're not going to use him to beat us. We're going to make Phillip Rivers throw the ball. And for a split second, Phillip was doing that. But, he had 277 passing yards, two TDs, and an interception, which, aren't bad stats, but when your defense isn't holding up, that's not going to get it done. So, man, shout out to Phillip Rivers, though, for the effort, man, the competitiveness, and coming off the couch, man. He had his grandkids and his kids in the stands up there. They looked like a band in that suite. There was about 15 of them. I was like, hey, whose band is that? They was like, that's Phillip Rivers' family. I'm like, dog, you got a whole legion up there, man. So there's shout out to Grandpa doing his thing out there, man. He got to play in front of his grandchild. Like, have we ever said that? I mean, as old as Tom Brady was when he was playing, I don't think we've ever seen a player play in front of his grandkids. That's never been done, man. That's amazing, bro. And, hey, I'm my bad for talking trash about how you was going to come out there. You still look like you had every pad. You look like you had a tire around your torso. But that's all good, man, because you got grandkids, so you need all the protection you could get. You literally had a rubber on. Hey, at the end of the day, the Niners won the game, and this NFC West division is shaping up to be a barn burner for the champion of this division, right? You got the Niners, who are now 11-4 after the game. The Seattle Seahawks are 12-3, and the Rams are 11-4. And, they have, some division games to end the season, right? The Niners play the Seahawks, and vice versa. The Seahawks play the Niners. The Rams have it a little bit easier if you're looking at it on paper. They have the Falcons and the Cardinals to end the season, right? They should smash the Cardinals last game easy. But I'm looking at this Monday Night Football game they got. They got Kirk Cousins. You like that Cousins, prime time Cousins, man. And Nim. And Nim, I mean Bijan Robinson. And that boy is elusive, and he is good. That boy good. I'm telling you. The boy good now. And if you look at what Walker for the Seahawks did to that Rams defense, then Bijan Robinson should do that and more, because he's probably, along with Jamar Gibson, the most explosive, elusive, well-rounded running back we have in this league. And I'm not even exaggerating. Those two is like lightning in the bottle, man. I'm telling you right now. And then Kirk Cousins, man, you know he come out and play on primetime Monday Night Football. It's not a division matchup. It's a conference matchup, all right? You seen what he did to Tampa Bay on the road. You have to expect Cousins' best when those lights are bright. And I said on the gridiron that Cousins is worth every dime. And I think if they would have let him play and let the rookie rest or learn behind Cousins for one more year, they may be in a better position towards the end of this season. But they didn't. And Kirk Cousins comes in and he's getting these wins at the end of the season. And the Rams, man, they can't stop a cold butt naked in Alaska with their pinky toe in the water. It's just, they can't, man. They can't. They let Sam Darnold and the Seahawks go on a scoring route, especially to end the game, right? Stafford was amazing. He had an amazing performance last week. From the 20 to the 20, they just couldn't score in the red zone. And we all know red zone is what makes or breaks you. A field goal compared to a touchdown. The Rams were going up and down the field last week. 4 series. They was whoop. Guess how many points they got? 16, because they kicked 4 field goals. You know how many times the Seahawks did it? They did it twice, and they scored touchdowns. Just 2 times. So that made it 16-14 early. And then when it came down to the end of the game, the Rams, they missed the field goal. In regulation, Matt Stafford had the opportunity twice with a little bit over 2 minutes to go in that game to seal the deal. And he didn't. And he let Sam Darnold get into overtime with him. He did go down and score a touchdown, but Sam went down and scored a touchdown plus 2. And 2 is more than 1. And the Seahawks won the game at home. It was a great game, man. Great, exhilarating game. But at the end of the day, man, everyone had the Rams clear cut. I'm looking at this Seahawks defense. You know, Stafford went up and down the field, you know, but hey, they ain't gonna play better. They played terrible. I'm not even gonna hold you either. They played terrible. They both was ass defense. Both of them was ass defense. And the Niners, their defense didn't look too good tonight either. So, you know, as a division, they can't play no defense, what it's looking like towards the end of the season, but we all thought they were great defenses mid to the beginning of the season. We was raving about the Rams and they pass rush and they secondary. We was raving about the Seahawks and they D-line and they secondary and able to create turnovers and this and that. But look, they haven't played well. And that's why I keep looking at these Bears and that NFC North, man, because the Bears play defense, they turn the ball over, and they win late. And the Niners got the Bears next before they got the Seahawks. So it's going to be looking like a tough little trek for these last 2 games for the Niners. And in Seattle, they got the Panthers, who are playing good defense, keeping scores low. And they are also have a young quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over much. And when the game's on the line, he seemed to making plays just like he did this past week, man. He's against Tampa Bay. This game was for the division, right? He came in, Tampa Bay came into their house, and they beat Tampa, man. It was a close game, as most divisional games are. But my dog, what's the quarterback, John? Bryce Young, L.A. Young, you know, he's from the city. Hey, that late touchdown pass he threw, that was a gem. It was a gem, and I'm not talking about the weights, man. I'm talking about the jewels. And hey, look, he got them boys in a position to win the division as well. Like most years, man, these divisions are coming down to the last game, and the last game are divisional rivals. So we'll see what happens to this NFC West and who's going to win it. But my money is on the Seahawks. The Seahawks are going to win the NFC West because Stone Cold said so. All right. Pittsburgh and Detroit. All right, look, this game was, viral ready. This game was made for the internet. Whether it was the bad offensive pass interference calls at the end, or DK, Homer Simpson, and the goddamn fan in the crowd. Hey, either way, man, this shit all over the internet. Now, the Steelers, they got away with one. I'm not gonna lie. Now they still battling for the AFC North as well, but the Ravens did them a favor and lost a bad game to the Patriots, and they beat the Detroit thanks to, they played a good game, man. They played a good game overall, but they almost lost it at the end. They really tried to give it up at the end of the game, and the refs didn't let them. They called a bad OPI on the first play, the touchdown to St. Brown, where it was a stack route, and the receiver didn't even pick the DB, man.